What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the video. Arthur Early here with you. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, okay? As the channel grows and as it gets bigger and I become more subscribers and you guys are looking for more mindset tips and a little bit of motivation, what I wanted to do for you today is let you know a little bit more about myself and a little bit more about my journey. And one of my passions is bodybuilding. And so what I'm going to talk about today is how actually bodybuilding changed my life. So it all started back in 2006, where I worked with a guy that was a professional bodybuilder. And a lot of these guys that you see like in the magazines or, on TV and stuff like that, or on Instagram, they have 9-to-5 jobs. And this gentleman happened to be one of them. And I always worked out. I always, I was always in the gym, always lifting weights, things like that. But I was never really into bodybuilding per se, and I'm going to explain that a little bit more in the video, the difference between lifting weights and bodybuilding. So pay attention and stay with me. All right, guys? So I started asking him some general questions like, different techniques he uses as far as, what body parts to build and, things like that, just picking his brain. And, we got kind of close, and, he invited me to go to the gym with him and get a training session in, which I did. And I saw the way he trained, and it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more of a higher of an intensity workout than I was used to. And, he asked me, had I ever considered becoming a bodybuilder? And I said, I'm in the gym. I'm thinking, we're all bodybuilders. And he tells me that, if you've never gotten on stage and competed, that you're not a bodybuilder. So, what I did was, he invited me to a bodybuilding show. My first bodybuilding show, I've never gone to a bodybuilding show. So when I got to the bodybuilding show, I had absolutely no idea what to expect. So I get there, and it's just like a whole bunch of people, in the audience and in the crowd. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty big. There's a pretty big, audience for this bodybuilding event, and I didn't know that it was such a popular thing. I had no idea that it was the sport was that big. I had watched or I had heard at that time about the Mr. Olympia competition, but I thought that was just like the pinnacle. I didn't know that that bodybuilding drew such an audience. So I go to the show. I'm just embraced in the show, taking everything in. And on the way home, he said, "What do you think about the show? Did you want to do a show?" I'm thinking to myself, have I ever wanted to do a bodybuilding show? And I said, you know what? Why not? If I can do a show, why not? These guys can do a show, why can't I? So he said, all right, cool. So like a couple days went by, and I told some people at work that I was working with this gentleman, and that I was going to be doing a bodybuilding show. And somebody told me, and this is all it took. Somebody told me that I could never do a bodybuilding show. Somebody told me I could never be a bodybuilder. And I took that what that person said, and I used it as motivation every single day and in my training. So the first thing that I did was I got a coach. Now, why did you get a coach? Why did I get a coach? Because I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. Okay, lifting weights and weight training is completely different for bodybuilding. When you bodybuild, okay, you want size and you want symmetry. And you want symmetry, meaning you want both the sides of your body to be in equal proportions, okay? So you don't want one bicep bigger than the other, or one leg bigger than the other. You want everything proportionate. So In order to achieve those results, you have to train in a particular way. So that's one aspect of why I hired a coach. Another aspect of why I hired a coach is the diet. Okay, when you are getting ready for a bodybuilding show, you can't eat certain foods. A lot of us, sometimes we go on diets and we think that we're eating the right foods. And in bodybuilding, it doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to eat the foods that work not for your body, but with your body to grow. All right. So I didn't know what kind of food that I needed. So that's another reason why I hired a coach. Another reason why I hired a coach is because the supplementation. I didn't know what supplements I needed to take. I didn't know how often I needed to take them. I didn't know what days I needed to take them. Bodybuilding is a lot about recovery and letting your muscles rest. And I didn't know the frequency of when to take the supplementation. So what I did was I hired a coach. That was the first thing I did. And a lot of times in business, we think that we know all about what it takes to make it to the next level and have success. And we don't have a mentor. We don't have a roadmap. And we just go at it blindly. And I'm telling you right now, whether it be in business or in bodybuilding, you need a mentor. You need some kind of coach to guide you. No, all right. So what were the days like when it came to bodybuilding? Now, I started competition preparation. We call it contest prep. I started about 20 weeks out from the show, meaning the show was on X day. So I started 20 weeks from that particular day. Now, it's broken down. I mean, everybody does their contest prep different. The way I did it for my first show was I started maybe at 20 weeks out, and for the first 2 or 3 weeks, what my coach had me do was just clean up my diet. Cut out the junk, cut out the the high starchy carbs, cut out pizza, anything that necessarily that you wouldn't eat on a regular diet. I cut out, and I increased my cardio to every day. So I was doing cardio training every day, whether it be treadmill or stair step or elliptical or bike or rower. It didn't matter as long as I was always getting a cardio session in a day. That was like for the first 2 to 3 weeks how it changed, and it really wasn't that hard to do. Now, as I progressed into the bodybuilding, it got a lot harder. Now, you have to be able to juggle. Now, at the time, I was working, so juggling, getting a good workout in, and getting getting in all your meals, and getting in work, and getting in time with the family, very, very difficult if you've never done it before. So it came a lot of it was a lot of mindset, guys. A lot of mindset that I had to go ahead and start building my mindset, start building the belief in myself, letting myself know that it was actual possible. And another good thing about doing the bodybuilding show, as far as the results goes, I actually saw results. Every day when I looked in the mirror, I saw a little bit more muscle, a little bit more vascularity, a little bit more fat loss, things like that, which kept me motivated. Okay, and ultimately you have to have a goal, whether it be anything in your life, to keep you motivated, to keep you moving, to keep you putting in that work to get that ultimate result. Okay, so now I'm 3 to 4 weeks into this contest preparation. Now my trainer or coach, as you would call it, says, let's change up the diet. Okay, now we took everything back. Now my meals were scheduled. Okay, the meals, I was eating 6 meals a day. 6 meals a day. The average day looks something like this. So I would wake up You know what? Let me just go over the meals first before I gave you an actual day of what it looked like. So the meals consisted something of the first meal of the day was usually egg whites, grapefruit, spinach, and a small piece of steak. All right. Second meal was a high protein drink, a high protein shake. Third meal was usually a chicken meal, chicken, broccoli, something along those lines, or chicken and green beans. And then another meal would be a post-workout meal. After that, I would have a post-workout meal such as a high carb drink, or another high protein shake, right? So that was another meal, and the last meal of the day was a either a fish meal or another steak meal, depending on how about where I was in the competition, how many weeks I was, things like that, particularly, and that the diet would change very, very often, as I'm going to allude to a little bit later. So that took some getting used to. Eating that amount of frequency took some getting used to. I wasn't used to eating like that. Another thing that I had to mentally prepare myself for. Wasn't easy. Eating like that and having that frequency and really having not a lot of flavor in the meals and eating just to fuel the muscle and to aid the fat loss. That's what I was eating for, and I didn't like it. There were very many times when it was just because of the dieting where I almost quit. It was just the food was so boring. The food was so bland, and I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to this type of lifestyle, and I almost quit. But once again, the results that I was getting, okay, and the vision that I had for myself, and the fact that somebody told me that I wasn't able to do it, kept me motivated and kept me going. So as time goes along and as the contest gets closer, now I'm about 6 weeks away from the show, looking the best I've ever looked in my entire life, feeling a little energy deprived. Now this is where I mentally needed mental strength. This is the time, because the calories dropped. Okay, I was used to eating a certain way. Then the coach said, you know what, we're going to switch everything up. I wasn't used to that. Okay, now it's summertime at my job. Summertime usually means it's a busier time at my job, so my job demanded a lot of me. Now we're doing two cardio sessions a day. So a typical day, 6 weeks out from the competition, looks something like this. I would get up at about 5:30 a.m. Okay, I would have my first meal, drive to the gym, do my first hour of cardio, come home, shower, get ready for work, go to work, work for 10 hours a day, and then I would go right back to the gym after work. That morning I would actually leave my stuff in the locker, okay, so because I knew I was coming back. That was another thing that I did to force myself to go to the gym at night after work when I was tired from working. I had left some stuff there, so I knew I had to go and get it. That was one of the things that I used. And sometimes in your business and in your life, you're going to need to trick yourself to stay motivated. You're going to need to tell yourself certain things that only you know that you're going to be able to keep yourself motivated, because at this time, nobody in my family, was a competitive athlete. My girlfriend at the time wasn't, really into bodybuilding, so she didn't really understand what my body was going through these changes, right? So I would go work a 10-hour day, then drive back to the gym, meet up with my coach, get a training session in. And that lasted anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes at the most. And then after that, I would do another hour of cardiovascular training, meaning elliptical, treadmill, things like that. So I was getting up at 5:30, working all day, getting to the gym at night. I wouldn't get out of the gym until some nights, you know, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, depending on the day. All right. And then have to turn around and do it all over again. This was physically and mentally grueling on me. Physically and mentally. My body hurt, okay, because of the constant weight training and changes in my body and diet changes. I was physically and I was mentally drained, okay, because I never had done this before. I wasn't used to it. And the mental aspect of it almost made me, once again, almost made me quit. I wanted to quit. I told myself, this is it. I'm going to quit. But then I once again saw the results and had that motivation in my life to go ahead and keep, see this thing through, see if I could actually do it. So that was that. Now, what I want to talk about as well was, some of the characteristics that sometimes keep us back from success. So doing all this, this training and this bodybuilding and the dieting and all the cardio, it left me feeling drained, like I said before. And as the competition grew closer, I became a little bit more with my sleeping. My sleeping wasn't good. I became an insomniac. I wasn't sleeping at night. It was just due to the fact that, it was low calories. I was drained. I just couldn't sleep. All right. That was very, very taxing on my body, which, believe it or not, made me mentally stronger, knowing that I would be able to get through this. Okay. Now let's fast forward a little bit closer to the show. Okay. Let's call it we're about 2 weeks away from the show. We're looking good. We're almost dialed in to where we need to be. Now the coach changes the diet again. Okay. Now we're on only white fish, right? White fish and greens. I'm having 4 to 5 meals a day of the white fish and the greens. And let me tell you something. That's enough to drive somebody crazy. But as long as you're dedicated and you're disciplined enough to do anything in your life, you can do it. And this just happened to be what I was doing at the time. I had the mindset, I had the laser focus to the end goal, and deprivation, whether it be food deprivation, sleep deprivation, is mentally taxing on your body. There was one night, and I'll never ever forget this, and I'm sharing this with you guys because I want to let you know some of the struggles and how I overcame them and how you can do the same. I'm just using it how bodybuilding changed my life. All right. So one of the times I woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and I was, like I said, I was calorie deficit. I was mentally and physically drained. I ended up using the bathroom in the garbage can. All right. I didn't know. I was disoriented, and I ended up peeing in a garbage can. And I know you say that might be crazy, that might be weird or whatever you want to call it, but at that particular time my body was completely stressed, and I had never ever gone through this in my life. And I don't want to deter anybody from wanting to aspire to become a bodybuilder. These are the things that I went through. Okay. And I don't want to deter anybody from ultimately reaching their goals, but you're going to go through things that have never happened to you before. Okay. And you're going to be able to have to eat that shit no matter what. Get through it no matter what. There's going to be circumstances. There's going to be pitfalls. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. So you got to be able to go through that all together. And when um, that happened to me, when I went to the bathroom with a garbage can, I got back in the bed. I woke up the next day and said, I want to quit. 2 weeks out from a show. I've worked 18 weeks. And once again, I wanted to quit because I said, this is not, I shouldn't be doing things like that. I talked to my coach about it. He said it happens, especially to, newer people who haven't conditioned their body for a bodybuilding show, become, very disoriented. There was nothing mentally wrong with me. It was just the physical exertion and the mental exertion that my body was taking. Sometimes these things happen. As the time got closer, I was very irritable. I snapped on people, snapped on coworkers, snapped on my girlfriend. It was just the irritability factor was through the roof. And once again, guys, sometimes in your business, you're going to get frustrated. You're not going to get sales. You're not going to get maybe no leads coming into your business. You're not going to see the results. I want to encourage you not to quit. Okay? Don't quit, because the results are going to come if you keep doing what you're doing. I use this example as how bodybuilding changed my life and made me ultimately mentally and physically stronger, as an example for whatever it is that you're doing. Keep it up. Now, here's the deal. First bodybuilding show, I'll never forget it, guys. You want to know why? Because I finished dead last. I finished in last place. I mean, I was at the bottom of the bottom. I'll remember it. There was 17 guys in my class, and I finished 17th. And guess what? It didn't stop me. Most people, it would have stopped. Putting all that work and not getting any reward. I mean, the fact that I actually got up on stage and competed was enough motivation for me, and actually seeing the physical changes in my body to keep going. Okay, so I did another show about 3 weeks later. I was able to dial it in a little bit more, and that show, there was 20 guys, okay, and I came in 13th place. All right, so I moved up 7 places. Wasn't necessarily the same guys, because I competed. As the time went on, I competed all over the tri-state, New York, Connecticut, Jersey, Pennsylvania. I was all over the tri-state area competing. Okay, so I stepped back, and when I went into this, I had no aspirations of becoming, no aspiration of doing anything more than just doing a bodybuilding show. But when I came in last place, it kind of fueled me to see how far I would be able to take this whole thing. So, I did more shows. I got more experience. I gained, more notoriety in the industry. And as I progressed, I moved up a whole weight class. Now, as you move up in weight class, the competition gets a little bit more harder, because there's a lot more guys that are looking to become professional bodybuilders. I never had the aspirations going into this to become a professional bodybuilder. I just once again, when I started, just to see if I can compete. Now I compete. I told myself, you know what? Let's do a show. Let's see if we can place in a show, and by placing in a show means coming in the top 5. And I was able to do that in a later show the following year. I placed 3rd into a show. Now I took my fuel and my motivation from not coming in last place in the show to getting a 3rd place and placing within the top 5. So the last step I told myself is, let me see if I could actually take this and qualify for the national level. National level means you coming in the 1st or 2nd place in your class and in the whole show. Okay, out of hundreds of bodybuilders, and you would have a chance to compete nationally in I can't remember what state it is. I think it's in Miami, Florida. You would go down to Miami, Florida, and compete nationally for a chance to get a shot to become a professional bodybuilder. Once again, I never had an aspiration to become a bodybuilder, but I just wanted to see in regards if I can make it to the national level. And my second to last bodybuilding show that I did, I actually placed second place in the light heavyweight division and qualified for a national placing. Now, I never, once again, I never competed nationally. I didn't have the aspiration to do it. But it just goes to show you that if you work hard enough at something and you have an ultimate, you have a vision and a goal, and you would do anything to get to that position, that there's nothing that's going to stop you. I can tell you that right now, whether it be online. If you have a goal, I want to make $10,000 a month. Okay, there's going to be nothing to stop you. I want to make $100,000 a month. There's going to be nothing that's going to stop you. You just got to figure it out. That's all it's about. You have to figure it out, and once you figure it out, you have to work hard enough to get to that spot. You know what it is, guys. So listen, that's how bodybuilding changed my life. That's how bodybuilding made me a stronger person and a mentally stronger person. So I want you guys to go ahead and comment down below what things that you've done in your life to make you physically and mentally stronger, guys. All right, so stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.